was good. Okay, so this is the first episode of Young Justice, which is part of a two-part premiere, but I wanted to talk about the episodes individually just because. So, and I'm glad they're airing these two back to back because, honestly, I feel given the way this episode ended, it kind of feels like I need to see both, but kind of like Avatar, where I feel like the next episode's gonna hook me. But yeah, so, bef- So in this episode, the sidekicks of Batman, Aquaman, The Flash, and Green Arrow have basically been given access. Basically, they've been promoted, but Green Arrow tells Speedy a little too much and he feels a little disappointed, and hence the other Justice members feel like they are a bit let down. So they decide to, they're told stay here while we deal with some crime going on somewhere. But of course, they don't listen and they go off and they find a secret experiment being conducted by some organization I don't know yet, but they basically are creating a young Superman who is a clone who he destroys the Young Justice, and that's where the episode ends. And before I get into this, I figure I might as well just say what my background is. I really haven't read in regards to DC. I haven't read that many DC comics. What I know about DC comes from the Nolan Batman, the first two Christopher Superman, the Bryan Singer Superman, the Zack Snyder Superman, and as far as cartoons go, I've seen a fair amount of Batman the Animated Series. I've seen the first season and a bit of the second season of Justice League. Seen all of Teen Titans, and that's about as far as it goes. So having said that, when I found out the premise of what the show is, I was like, okay, we're doing a show about the sidekicks. But I was surprisingly engaged. I think a lot of it's due to the fact the show trusts a lot of its audience. For one, it's very adult. It takes itself seriously. It's Teen Titans had jokes, but it's not like it's clearly in the same vein as the Batman and Justice League show, where it's taking itself seriously and it's respecting the viewer's intelligence. And I think that's another part of it. I think the other part of it is that it didn't really waste any time. It doesn't waste time on the origins of these characters, how they came together, because we don't need to know that at some point. And honestly, I think by this point, most people know who most of these superheroes are. So, which I like how it assumes. And Teen Titans didn't bother with the origin story, and I'm gonna assume we're gonna get bits and pieces of these characters and their origins and how and their relationship with their the main hero as we need it. And I think that's smart. And I think that's why we just don't waste time setting up. We just cut right to the chase. And what happens? The only thing is I don't feel like I quite know the members yet. I know who they are, I know their powers, but I really don't feel like I know anything about them personally. Again, I'm going to assume that more as the show progresses, I'm going to learn more and more about these characters. But for now, again, Robin's a bit of a rebel while Speedy is the good turned rogue. I'm guessing he's going to turn evil. That just felt so obvious. But for now, I don't feel like I know the characters quite well. But again, there's one more episode left in this two-part premiere. Maybe something will happen in that. I assume so. And even then, there's a couple things I have to adjust to. For one, the animation. It looks gorgeous, by the way. I'm amazed that for a pilot, the animation's as good as this, because it makes me wonder what the animation for season 2 is like, and what the animation for the later seasons would have been like had it not been canceled, and hopefully it comes back, and hopefully it comes back full force. Also, the voice actors. There's a lot of good, talented voice actors here, some of which I recognize, like Phil Lamar, not by anything they're doing wrong, just by the fact that they're so iconic voice actors. And some cases, it's the fact that, I'm so used to hearing this character played by a certain actor, like Flash and Batman, especially. Like, I'm so used to hearing Kevin Conroy and the Flash, and the actors are fine. It's just it'll take a little bit of getting used to, kind of like how Buttercup's voice took a little me getting used to, but I'm sure it'll fine. And even Robin, like I'm so used to Teen Titans Robin and Jesse McCartney as Robin. He's fine again. It's not that the voice actors are bad. It's just that I'm used to hearing associating certain voices with these characters, and I'm sure if I watch enough episodes, I'll eventually throw it in. I love the decision to have the guy who voiced Cyborg voice Aqualad, though. That's really cool. I'm trying to think what else. I was a little annoyed at the whole the teams asked to stay here, but then they go out and do it anyway cliche. Because I've just seen that done a million times. But I feel like they did it well. They set up the idea that they're promised excitement, they're promised they're finally being treated seriously, and then when they find out they aren't, they have the right to feel a little let down. So I get that. I mean, we all want to be taken seriously. We want to be treated like adults equals. We don't want to be our hands to be held. I mean, even me with my parents, like sometimes I don't like it when my parents hold my hand and assume like I don't know how to do things. So it's a reasonably set up conflict. It's just I've seen it done a million times. Plus, but again, they set it up nicely, and I like how we're getting this out of the way now. Like I feel like the next episode, the Justice League's gonna save them. We're gonna have the talk, and then we'll move on. And if we can get out of the way now, I'll be happy because I don't like. That means we can move on to more exciting stuff. And the last thing. I'm trying to think. What was I going to say? So, yeah, that's it. I mean, it's a little hard for me to judge this episode based off of one. I mean, it's only part of a story, but so far I'm interested. I'm engaged. I'm not, like, there yet, but I mean, I didn't expect to be grabbed by the first episode. I mean, again, this isn't Gravity Falls or Jessica Jones, like, where I wasn't, like, I gotta see the next episode. I'm engaged, and for the first season, I'm not expecting it to start out awesome from the start. I expect it to start out good with some interesting ideas that get developed and expanded and explored and nurtured until it develops into a show that's really solid episode after episode. So, good start, and I cannot wait to see the next episode. Until then, take care.